So before we begin, if we can, with the help of this chant or with the focus on our breath, we can just gather ourselves for just a minute with some, attention within, and then we'll begin. So while listening to this chant, we can look at our breath, follow it all the way in and all the way out for just a few breaths. Thank you so much. So good evening and good and let's start. So last time we had started this psychic education and we had read this paragraph, this passage which said that starting point is to seek in yourself that which is independent of the body. Should we go through this once, read it, or we should go to the second?
I think we can go ahead also.
Please.
Yeah. Aditi, please.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody is willing, if they can read the next maybe two paragraphs, and then we'll reflect on that. starting with, but as I have already said.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The incarnate word, but as I have already said, the path to that realization is long and difficult, strewn with snares and problems to be solved, which demand an unfailing determination. It is like the explorer's trek through virgin forest in quest of an unknown land, of some great discovery. The psychic being is also a great discovery, which requires at least as much fortitude and endurance as the discovery of new continents. A few simple words of advice may be useful to one who has resolved to undertake it.
Yeah, maybe this is a good point to stop just after this paragraph. Just like it says here, we all do feel challenges and difficulties on the path. And if we can take it as a fact, things are easier because somehow sometimes we could mistakenly believe that, it's just happening to me. And I think that is why such sessions and gatherings and, how the stress on the right company is given, that it is difficult. So if knowing that it has its challenges, it is difficult, and so is the life that I'm living, that's why I'm here. It's easier to know that, okay, yeah, I will have challenges, so I know that. But here she says, but as I have already said, the path is long and difficult, strewn with snares and problems to be solved, which demand an unfailing determination. I like the word like strewn with snares, traps to catch you. It's very visual. It is like the explorers trek through virgin forest in quest of an unknown land, of some great discovery. Like how adventurous, how mystical, and yeah, a lot is demanded. The psychic being is also a great discovery which requires at least as much fortitude and endurance as the discovery of new continents. It's sounding both exciting because the lives that we live, they're mostly monotonous, right? Like no matter how much we think we are going out and new things we are doing, still they again and again become patented, right? Like some people say they travel a lot. And then that travel becomes a pattern. Like when you're home for too long, that starts hitting on you. So discovering a new continent. So yeah, that's beautiful. So anything before we move ahead to what she's saying, the few words of advice?
Just adding on, I think, to the lines that you were sharing, that then I would not just look for comfort, because all the time we are just, blaming situations and people when things are not comfortable. And when things are comfortable, then we are okay. So, because when I am out for a great discovery, what is most important is that great discovery. Now it doesn't matter whether on one day I have to fast because there is no food, one day I don't have to sleep, I can't sleep, there's hardly any place to sleep. So all these things then become very secondary when, as you were already sharing, when there is something more important for me in front. That all that matters is great discovery, and for that I can just go through any, what mother was sharing, trouble and difficulties, and even to be wary of traps. Yeah.
And in general, exploring in itself is very joyous, right? Like, of course, it has its challenges. And yet, even not knowing what one has to find, what one will find, Vasco da Gama ended up in Cape of Good Hope. Where did he start with and where did he wanted to reach? And yet, it was a new continent. So, even not knowing that where I'll end up, which I don't, and most of us begin when we see there's no other way, right? Either there's just so much love that you cannot help but go there, or you're so disgusted and frustrated with how things are that again it seems that there's no other way. So if there is no other way, might as well have fun, right? Might as well take it in this thing that okay, now I will know what else I can do with this. And that just changes things, right? I mean, of course, there would be times when one would feel that, oh my God, what do I do? And yet to be able to rise above again and again, that this too shall pass, and reaching within, that helps, that attitude of perseverance, sincerity, will. Without that, it doesn't seem possible. Nothing is possible without that. So how will
Yeah.
this be?
I think what you just shared is very important. That exploring just for the sake of exploring. Now, how you have come to it, either for the joy of it or life ne maar ke bheja, it doesn't matter because now you are at it. And also the other thing is that same with surrender. Surrendering because surrendering is joy, not that because surrender will get me something. Because that becomes really frustrating. Even in this case, that, oh my God, why is it not happening? All that can become very frustrating. That's the qualities of perseverance. So, and also, as you were sharing that the Vasco da Gama did not know what will he find. Columbus also just stuck upon some discovery. That's why we call it discovery. So there, I think again the need for an open-mindedness and flexibility. Because if I'm too rigid that, okay, I know that this is how it has to be, then again frustration is there, then again disappointments are there. So the need for a kind of a relatively flexible open-mindedness here, that there is something I would find, but I don't know what I. So be prepared to shock yourself or surprise yourself. Yeah. And there is joy in all that, as you were sharing. Yes.
So taking it further, so if anybody is willing to read the next paragraph, next two maybe. Yeah, I think I'll. Yeah,
I
if you
can
can.
I can
Yeah.
read. Yeah, I can read. I'm getting old on the phone. I have to remove my glasses. Okay, the first and perhaps the most important point is that the mind is incapable of judging spiritual things. All those who have written on this subject have said so, but very few are those who have put it into practice. And yet, in order to proceed on the path, it is absolutely indispensable to abstain from all mental opinion and reaction. Give up all personal seeking for comfort, satisfaction, enjoyment, or happiness. Be only a burning fire for progress. Take whatever comes to you as an aid to your progress and immediately make whatever progress is required.
Thank you. The mental opinion and reactions. It's very strange, I don't know, I was reflecting on this about a few months back, that the same things which I have given so much value to, a mental opinion, a sound mental opinion, reactions, judgments, plan of actions. There comes a time when you want to laugh at your cleverness, right? And you see that, oh my God, it was me who was being so clever, and that's why I was getting that slap, or I got that thing slipped from my hand. That all my cleverness is there to teach me that drop it, drop it, drop it. It's not needed. So I think in the beginning only, of course, because we are all so in awe of our mental opinions that this is me and this is what I think. A lot of times when even people are having regular fun conversations, you hear this ki ye chhod, mujhe sun, kind of this thing that listen to me. And that's what I'm doing, right? Just listening to myself, and that has led me to here. So that should be a little bit indication of what it does to me. So the first and perhaps the most important point is that mind is incapable of judging spiritual things. A lot of times we may believe that we are somewhere and somebody's 5 steps ahead, or somebody is not yet started, in any way. Like she's saying spiritual thing, but I think that would be true for everything. We have no way of judging where the person is. And yet, in order to proceed on the path, it's indispensable to abstain from all mental opinion and reaction.
I think most of the times we are just making conclusions based on our opinions in our mind, and we don't even know that we are doing it. And that becomes the cause of our suffering, because whatever is out there is not according to what I imagined or believed to be. So there is disappointment in life, and we don't see the cause of disappointment as my rigidity to my opinion. We see it as out there. I think that's also very blinding. That I don't see that, oh, I am sticking that this should be like this and this. But we keep on blaming at why is that not like this and this, what I have the image in my head. So this also comes as a big relief, that I can take my images very very loosely, and thoughts and feelings very very loosely, and can't be so sure of them, how sure of them I am right now. Yeah, it can keep one very relaxed, because usually we are like a sponge ball, like tightened up, or like that, and always blaming and criticizing the situations, even our own self. I think we keep on criticizing. But if there is this uncertainty, unsurety, that, oh, but how do I know? So then it really relaxes the being. Yeah. And also that what matters is growth of consciousness. Now, for growth of consciousness, sometimes a slap may be required, sometimes a gaddi or cushion may be required. So, how do I know what is required for me? I think there also you become grounded, and humility is there. That how do I know whether a slap is required for me or the cushion? Maybe the cushion is not required. I was waiting for the cushion, but the cushion did not come.
I think before one can just believe this, one has to know for sure that my ways have not been working very well, right? Like before that, it feels that, kya baat kar rahe ho? What are you talking about? I should not use my intellect, and no, it's not saying that don't use it, right? Like, and yet we use that as a judgment tools, right? Like we plan based on that. Like, I don't know how to put it, but if we actually sincerely see that this is what I planned, or this was my intentions, and this is where I ended up, and the things that I thought would give me happiness would be just desires which just left me wanting more. And the things I thought were the reason for my suffering shaped me into becoming who I am today. We have to actually have that time for reflection and connecting some dots which we just feel are bizarre and just happened, and yet nothing just happens. There is a reason. Yeah, any reflections, questions, comments? Okay, and the second paragraph was give up all personal seeking for comfort, satisfaction, enjoyment, or happiness. It's a big thing. Give up all personal seeking for comfort, satisfaction, enjoyment, or happiness. Be only a burning fire for progress. Take whatever comes to you as an aid to your progress and immediately make whatever progress is required. Now, this thing, especially the second line, is very reflective again because whenever something happens to me, I go into a victim mode. I go into a, kind of, why is God cruel? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me again and again and again? Life is trying to teach you a lesson, build a muscle, show you that, okay, you're carrying something which doesn't need to be carried. But instead of seeing it, I just keep crying, shouting that, oh God, life is hard. God is, I don't know, not there. Otherwise, why would this happen? So be a burning fire for progress. Take whatever comes to you as an aid to your progress. And what is it teaching me? What is it teaching me? And immediately, it sounds like so easy. Make whatever progress is required. The first line, it basically makes one wonder that then what do I do, right? If I'm not seeking comfort, satisfaction, enjoyment, or happiness, it seems quite far from the way one normally operates. And yet, this Thursday, yesterday, when we were doing the study circle on the heroic life, Jet Sunmala had painted such a beautiful visual that, of dogs in her nunnery. That a dog, what does a dog want? It wants food, good food. It wants water. It wants shelter. When it's sunny, it wants shade. When it's shady, it wants sun. When it has other dogs coming in, which he doesn't like, he growls and maintains his territory. If his doggy friends are there, he plays with them and, he's happy. And he wants to be petted, he wants to be loved. And the question was that if that's all I am asking from life, then won't I be better off as a dog rather than a human? It was very reflective and yeah, hit the nail, hammer on the nail or whatever the word is. Yeah. So I'm assuming if there'll be any comment, we'll feel free to unmute and just talk. So moving on, trying to take pleasure in all you do, but never do anything for the sake of pleasure. At the beginning of this, we had taken a passage before we started the psychic education article. That how mother had said that, the pleasure is on the path, like it's a byproduct, it's never a destination. So again, that is being reiterated, that take pleasure in all you do, but never do anything for the sake of pleasure. So this also is on the same line, as the first line here. Give up all personal seeking for comfort, satisfaction, enjoyment, or happiness. And just reflecting on this, try to take pleasure in all you do, but never do anything for the sake of pleasure. Because with pleasure again, that duality, I believe one of the things is that it comes, right? That I'm seeking, I'm expecting, I have images of my pleasure, I have, it's again, I'm trying, it's a coin, and I'm trying to just pick up heads. So it's just the pleasure, but I can never pick up just heads because tail is part of all coins. So the pain comes, and then the cycles again and again, right? Pleasure, pain. I want pleasure, I keep getting pain. I keep crying, wanting more pleasure. I keep getting, into more suffering, more pain. So rather than taking it as a result, as a byproduct, that this is something I will get after doing these 5 things, 10 things, 20 things, how about doing something because that doing gives me pleasure? There's no other result, there's no other reward. It's a very drastic way of approach towards life, and yet when you think about it, it sounds very logical and very simple, and one wonders that how did we come so far. I don't know, we do office jobs, we go and do things which we have like zero interest in most of the time, that will give me money, and with that money I'll go for a vacation, and then on that vacation when I'll be sipping my coffee sitting on, I don't know, the blue mountains, then I will be happy, and then I'll be like that, okay, those 3 months of whatever were worth it, they make me feel worth it then. And yet choosing something which would give me little reward, and yet, I mean, monetary reward, and yet it's giving me happiness every day, that would be considered a stupid decision by most, that, oh, you are not getting anything, right? There's nothing material coming out of it.
I think this thing is very, it's like it runs our societies, that using everything as a means to an end, which is once this is done, then I will have the pleasure, that is promised. And that just ruins, and we keep procrastinating our joy and delight, which we can have daily in our life. And not only, like, I think joy and delight doesn't mean comfort. One has to be like, because whenever we talk about joy and delight, for example, a parent may have delight in just carrying the child, although parents back may be breaking, but it's important, it's right in that point, if that the child may be sick or I don't know, whatever, and the parent feels joy that, oh my god, I'm so thankful that I could carry the child, for example. So joy and delight don't mean comfort and satisfaction. I think it's a different dimension, I feel altogether, that why am I doing it? Because I know this is right for me. So some element of that, you just know that you have to be here. And that's why there is delight in that particular path, whatever one is walking. Because many a times we confuse delight with that, then you must be feeling okay. One may not be feeling okay, and yet one may have delight. Because one knows that this is the right thing to do. For example, when we talk about freedom fights and freedom struggle, now I'm sure one doesn't want to get on the news and end their life, but one feels delight because this is the right thing to do. I want to do this. And then also, then one is not waiting for the day to end so that one can have that satisfaction towards the end of the day, like in our jobs, like If somebody says now you're not getting your salary, I would be like, really? How can that happen? Because I cracked my ass, working so hard, waiting for that last day to come so that the salary can come. Otherwise, I would not have worked. So I think to also choose those kinds of, uh, if possible, workplaces and days that I would like to do this no matter whether I get the money or not. So then I think I simplify my life because then I'm not waiting and craving for some end result. And what you were sharing, that duality, I think that's a very good example that if I'm picking a coin, it's like I'm looking at the head and picking it up, but chupa hua hai, the other side is hidden, which will come very soon. So if something which came to my life and it brought me lots of joy, I don't see that when it'll go from my life, it'll actually give me a lot of pain that we don't see when it's coming. Yeah. But we can't avoid if there is meeting, there is has to be a parting. Yeah. And that's why the talk about how Jitsunma shares about non-stickiness, that if it comes, let it come, and if it goes, let it go, because that's how it is. But we by nature are so sticky that I just want to stick to the upper side of the coin, and I don't want to look at the lower side. And the coin is turning, but I don't want, I still want the heads, and that becomes the cause of my misery. Yeah, funny creatures we are.
Ma'am, so when 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 you're talking about the concept of pleasure, I have a question with regards to that. So, I think that the concept itself is very different in each person's mind, because the I watched this series called Dangerous Roads to School. It's actually on YouTube by Free Documentary, the channel name. So they show how in different countries, in remote areas, how children walk for 3 hours one side through through mountains, through jungle, sometimes through to swamps, and they are like 5-year-old, 6-year-old children, like kids, and they are going to school every day, and they are enjoying it, which is the driving force that is helping them go there every day. So my question is, when you say that pleasure is something when we find joy in it, then why then how is it possible that we be thankful for everything we have and find joy in everything? Because if I'm studying in a school, I go there, I'm like, oh God, I have to go to school again, and I have to wait for Friday so I can get my holiday. That is my mindset. But some people are enjoying it. They want to go to school because that's a luxury for them. So how do I step into this, step into the minds, into their kind of mindset, and also have the same enthusiasm when I'm going to school, when I'm doing anything, and just be thankful every single time. Thank you.
I think in the school example, the parent has a big role to play, right? The child is dependent on the situation, the circumstances, the approach towards with which the child is sent to school and the teachers. It's very dependent, and yet it would depend on one's nature too, right? Like how somehow society is bent towards this, means to an end attitude. They do this to get that, do that to get this. So I'm not even considering that the work itself can bring me joy. Like you were sharing the example of the documentary, it's possible that, though that path could be the most beautiful part of the day, that walk could be the most beautiful part, even more than the school. Because school, again, you're getting scolded and There's so much to do. So I think an inherent probably change in my attitude, the center of my operation probably would be needed to feel that, I don't know, laughter, that lightness in what I do. It's like I have, an end point already in my mind and I am working towards it. And I am not, it doesn't seem I'm reaching it and I'm just going here and there. And that keeps that there is always that pull, push, that effort that I have to become this. And if there is no image, I don't know what will happen today. I don't know whether even I'll be alive. So, honestly, we don't know. So then whatever comes would feel like joy, right? Okay, there's nothing, nowhere I want to be. I remember once, I was on a vacation and I just was observing myself. I was walking down a street going towards the beach, and I asked myself that why is it not possible for me to feel this feeling that I'm having right now within me, say when I'm in Delhi. So it was just like I have no way to reach, right? In Delhi, it's always like maybe, you have to do this and that is there and this is it. But now I'm on my vacation, so it's all relaxed. So then I realized that means it's not the location, that's my attitude, right? I can have the same attitude there as well. I'm choosing not to take it. So that helped me make a lot of changes to a basic mindset of mine and feeling more, beach like, even when there was no beach around. So it's just when you look at things a lot of times, I believe, that why am I not feeling happy here? And if I'm not feeling that, then why am I still doing it? And why am I doing it for the result? The result that I may never reach, I will actually never reach, because as soon as, I'm working through for a desire, when I reach it, or somewhere even before I reach it, it ends, right? It just says that, oh, this is not important right now. As soon as I feel I'll be able to get it, let me go towards something else. But I see that now. I can see that, right? And the more I see, it helps me in not next time when it again is calling me. One day I realize that, okay, I don't want to listen. Yeah, please, I think I'm just digressing a lot, inviting more comments.
No, it's been helpful, ma'am. Um, Also, I think a certain amount of, if one is a believer in mother or any other god, a certain amount of faith in mother or anyone will also help them, be thankful, because I'm saying this not because I am doing that, because I am not right now. I don't have that mindset. I'm trying to learn it, but I've seen my father, over the years, he was into civil construction. Over the years, he's been through his own ups and downs. And there are a couple of examples I would like to say. One was when he used to work in Assam, and the place it was a dam construction place, and there was no reception. So he was able to only call us like once when he comes to the city, or sometimes weekly twice. So I would call him. I was like 14 or 15-year-old. I would call him like, how are you even, smiling? Or how are you even happy there? Like that, it sucks. The place sucks. There is nothing there. You don't have TV. You cannot watch Tom and Jerry and all. And he said, mother put me here because that is what the plan is. And I'm thankful and I'm happy wherever I am. Then fast forward to when I was 25, and he was in a, he was working in a place which wasn't really rewarding, and I I dropped him at his place. I was returning back, all sad, thinking, why is my father going through all this? And yet he was still smiling, and he was telling me that, this is where mother wants me to. and I'm enjoying it. He never ever had, felt bad about his situation. And I always wondered, like, even whatever my mom makes, I'm always like, I don't want to eat this one. But no, he was never like that. I would think, how can someone be so thankful? And as I grow old, I realize that a part of it is also being able to surrender and to be accepting to whatever comes, and think that this is where mother wants to keep me. And I don't think anyone else can be a good, anyone else can decide better for me than the mother. So, saying this, I feel like I have to start doing this right now, but it is not at all easy. Like, I don't find it easy. Like, I'm still waiting for the Friday. This is Friday, so I'm still waiting for my Friday, my weekend. But my mindset, I'm thinking, how did my father do it? And now that you're talking about this, and it's just clicked in my head. Thank you.
And I just want to, I feel that we can't make that shift. I think Taru, you were saying that maybe that some radical shift is required to switch. And as Jagan says that he's struggling with an attitude of gratitude, that how can I have, when situations are like this, how can I be grateful? I think I personally feel that like a really big thrash and blow from life. Without that, I can't have that shift. Somehow we are like that. So if today I were to land up in the hospital with my organs failing, and after some days I get it back, then the gratefulness I feel, no one can take that gratefulness away from me. Really. Because 2 days ago, I was struggling with having water in my mouth and chewing food. Oh my God, now I know, how grateful I can be when I'm chewing food, for example, as trivial as that. So I feel personally if I look at back at my own experiences, the dog's tail that I am, it's impossible to have that shift in consciousness towards an attitude of, wherever I am, the divine wants me here, what Jagan was sharing regarding his father. It's impossible for me. I feel that I need a blow in life in order to get to know that, oh my God, I can already be grateful for so many things. Somebody needs a disease, somebody needs a break in the bone, somebody needs a break in relationship, somebody need a loss of a loved one. Before that we don't really get straightened up, no matter how hard we may try to practice it. But that true inner transformation, I feel that is a result of a radical shift in some situation in life. And that's why, as we were discussing the first one, that's mind cannot know what is uh, needed for me, what is not. So maybe that loss of a loved one or losing a relationship was the very thing which was required for me to be grounded right now the way I am, because otherwise I could not have been grounded, you know and we don't even know that we are high up in the air before we fall to the ground. And okay, counting, okay, how many pieces, okay, now I know, how far up in the air I was. We don't know. Yeah, so I think then it's good to wait for a blow to happen. Yeah, I would be happy to receive that blow, actually, to know that how up in the air I am. That would be like a warrior on the path, that please tell me, keep showing me how up in the air I am, because I don't get to know myself. So, yeah, waiting for the next shattering.
Ma'am, it would have been wonderful if there is a way to sustain the blow and keep it in, keep that um, experience, and be as intense as one receives the blow even after like long period of time.
Very
It
true.
yeah, because blows
We
come and
forget.
go, and
We forget.
yeah, exactly.
It
Because
fades away. As mother
yeah,
says, on this, mother says that's why repeated blows are required. You're right. Yeah, it fades away.
yes.
It just reminds me there was this conference from Dr. Debu under Namaha. He had very beautifully said, and a lot of more other masters and mystics have said that we have to keep our pain active. How it's again, today when I'm listening to what we are saying, I would say that it could classify as crazy talk to a lot of ears because it's quite contradictory to how we are told to live life. So again, this point that, you without pain, without suffering, I go down the slippery slopes. I don't stay focused. And if I have got those blows, if I could keep remembering them, then it helps me in realizing that, okay, I don't have to lose my focus. Remember what happened. Remember, that remembering it as if it just happened, say, this morning, yesterday night, and reminding that it can happen any time again. There is no assurance. Like, the mind keeps covering up, right? That no, 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 forget it, forget it. Maybe you imagined it. It goes that far, kind that okay. So it's very, and he has spoken about death, and he had said that every morning he said when he wakes up, the first thought he said is today could be the day. And it could be, right, for any one of us. So he said that pain is really important and we must use it to keep ourselves really alive. And one more thing he had shared, which was very revelatory to me, and Monica and I, we discuss it many a times. He said, he's a very big eye doctor, and he said that sometimes I get patients who have had issues in their eyes for months and even years, and they are literally turning blind. And then they come ki kuch itna dikh nahi raha mujhe. But by that time, it's not possible for me to reverse the disease. If they would have come as soon or in the middle, I could have stopped it. They're already almost blind and they are here. And when I ask them, why didn't you come before? They say that there was no pain. And, in contrast to this, a person who would have pain would come the next day, irrespective of blindness or no. So this again shows that there is some magic in pain that just makes me, it puts I don't know, myself on fire, and I'm like, okay, I have to do something about it. I have to do something about it. I cannot sit in pain. That Kabir ji's doha na कि दुख में सुमिरन सब करें सुख में करे ना कोई जो सुख में सुमिरन दुख में सुमिरन सॉरी सुख में सुमिरन करे तो दुख काहे को होए. So I think it's very reflected of this that because me being dog's tail, gladly, I knowing myself now that I do not do much when things are all right. Somehow, if I can remember the pain, I know will help me. So it's again a practice, right? A way in which I can keep myself in order. How they say how they used to discipline kids, say with sticks or with this thing, कि इधर करा तो पड़ेगा एक types na. And that also has a purpose, right? That if I'm not be able to maintain a discipline, which is needed for my own good, I use that tactic. And just because I don't do it when things are good, then again and again life has to give me bad situations so that I can remember. And then I cry. उसमें भी I waste years कि oh God मेरे साथ ये हुआ मतलब I'm such a slow learner.
No, I
Yeah, I
feel
guess
that
I'll
if there
stop.
is a little bit of understanding, which I'm sure all of us are having through our experiences, then I think this can be such a beautiful prayer because I remember that I I myself remember that at times I have really said this that I know that I am dog's tail and do the stick that you were mentioning, that keep hitting me hard whenever I stray. So I may be actually crying because of that hit, which I myself asked for because I don't want to get straight and I know I will get straight. So you hit me hard, right? But along with that crying, there is also, I think, gratefulness that this is good for me. This is good for me. So I think slowly we can enter, in through our life's experiences, that kind of understanding, because we all are very Teda beings. We are not straightened up already from the beginning itself. And if that can be our prayer, rather than the prayer that give me favorable circumstances and comfort and pleasure and all the wealth and whatever I wish for, if that can be the prayer, I think that's really, I feel it's very, I don't know, rock starish. I'm not saying that one must now create an image of rock star, but I mean it's okay to just take every blow to on your face, like you're ready for it, because you know that that's required for you. Yeah, yes, Aditi.
No, I was just laughing at your rock star, but that's true.
Ma'am, when you were comparing with the dog's tail and how, the dog, you know, like needs a beating with a stick to come back to, to not stray away. So that stick is from an external force, right? So the unfortunate thing about, you know, becoming an adult and then growing up is that the external forces kind of go away. As a kid, I had someone, to tell me that you're doing this wrong. You should not do this. I had my teachers. I had my, someone will slap me and say, "Yes, you did this wrong," and then I would correct myself because there was an external force. But as I grow old, like they think, oh, he's an adult, he'll know it, or he's an adult. Why should I tell him? Or the number of advices kind of reduce to almost zero sometimes. So the point is, do we always need an external force to to push us and to for for a good change, or can we ourselves become that external force? And sometimes even if we go if we go sidetrack, we can still put ourselves back in the path.
I wonder how lucky you are if the external forces have all quieted and nobody is giving you advice. That's very rare, but happy to know it's possible. Jagan, here basically we are not talking about just people, right? We are talking about circumstances and life. So if you're feeling discomfort in a place where you're feeling uneasy, that's an external force. If you're feeling life is too monotonous, or if you're feeling no something is not right, that's an external force. And this sensitivity totally depends on one own consciousness, right? That say a Buddha saw a dead body, an old man, a sick person, one sick person, one dead body, one old man, and that was enough for him to say that, oh no, not this, there has to be more, right? And he left his kingdom in search of there has to be a greater truth than this. So it depends on how sensitive I am, right, to my situation, circumstances, what I'm doing with this precious human birth. That yes, absolutely, I do not need blows. Not saying that we need them, but because without them, I have seen that I don't act, I don't change. So it feels that I sadly need them, but then they are not very sad because they are helping me to be where I would want to be. मेरे हित में है. It's good for me. So just that's the distinction, that it's not that उसके बिना होगा नहीं, but it's just a fact उसके बिना हुआ नहीं है, मैं कर नहीं पाता हूँ. If the day I will not need these, they would stop.
One visual is coming when you are sharing this. It's like, if I'm sleeping in my home and there is fire. Now, the little heat that comes through the fire, because my sleep is so deep, that heat and warmth is not enough to wake me up. I'm becoming even more cozier in that heat and warmth. So what you already shared, I think very, very important, that discomfort we already have in our lives. Otherwise, we won't be here today, with Mother and Sri Aurobindo if discomfort was not there. Most people enter spirituality because there is discomfort in their lives. I think we can be honest about that. And usually what happens is that it's so sukshma, it's so subtle, this discomfort, that the slumber is not waken up easily, and then the fire is burning, and I'm now having pain in my ass or wherever it's burning. It's like, really, I'm having pain, and yet I'm not getting up, yet I'm not getting up. Now a person has to break the door open, with a loud noise and lots of hammer and everything, so that he can now wake me up and maybe put pani over my head, or whatever may be required to wake my sleep up. But this instance would not have been required if I would have been sensitive enough, what you were sharing, that usually we are not sensitive enough. And that's what I think is the very game about, to change this level of sensitivity, that immediately that you feel discomfort, and we would know that it's my mind creating most of the discomfort. It's not that the situation outside is that bad. It's the problem is the storyline I am creating about the situation. So can I just devoid myself of the storyline first, and then see what is the factual situation and what is to be done. Yeah, so I feel that that's why the the body would manifest disease, because headaches are not given importance. Whenever there is a headache, I pop up a pill and done for the day. I think that's part of the game. And that's why the how would the body speak, how would life speak, that hey, wake up, wake up. So life gives situations, and the body gives diseases, chronic illnesses that you would not be able to get rid of easily, that now you will have to worry about your life. And amazing thing is that to that also we become habituated, that keep popping pills and live with the situation. Yes, Jagan, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, that example is absolutely spot on. Um, I think I kind of didn't communicate it correctly. Like, I have a lot of people advising me correctly, but very less people who are scolding. The thing is, so I'll give an example. So, sometimes at work, the stress is too high, and I call my mom, I talk to her, and moms always ask, have you eaten anything? Have you, regardless of how many times I call, and she asks me. Then sometimes I'm like super upset, and I was like, no, but like, why do you keep asking me the same question over and over again? And then I remember something else, and then I kind of, have this verbal fight with her, and she just keeps quiet. Even my dad keeps quiet, which is very strange to me because that wasn't the case like 5 years ago. So then I disconnect the phone, and after a couple of hours, I realized that when the mind calms down, it's like, why did I even why did I even behave like that? What was the necessity? Because I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were going through. And then I call back, and then I apologize, but the damage is already done. So they are my parents, and they tell me that we thought you had a bad day, and they are my parents, so they'll understand. But what about others? If I don't act in that situation correctly, then maybe there is a good chance I might not have the chance to go back to it and correct it. So which is why I still miss that beating. I still miss the yelling sometimes, because that corrected me in that very moment. I used to think, when I grow old, nobody will scold me, but I miss being scolded sometimes, because that corrected me at that very moment. So I did not repeat it. Now it is like I have to learn from the experience, and the experience really hurts sometimes.
You can call me, I can quote you and put it there.
Sure.
I was going to say that, ask for it, you will get it. Yeah.
I'm seeing the profile of Jagan's wife, future wife, what characteristics she would have, and then he'll remember what he asked for.
Oh.
Can't wait.
You ask and you shall receive.
Maybe after a couple of years, then you would wonder, "Oh, did I ask for that?"
Yeah.
Or maybe
Mm.
Taru's Vachan will become alive for Jagan.
Yeah, I hope not. I really hope not. And I hope he realizes what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it seems like such a better way to learn, right? That nobody's shouting, nobody's screaming, people are quiet. And that makes you realize still that, okay, this is out of line or this wasn't meant to be. So it appears like a more evolved way of learning. Yeah, so
I think that's the best way of learning when you expect someone to yell at you and they don't. And then it's like, oh my God, I would have felt better like if they would have yelled at me. So I'm using that tactics with my son. So it works. Um, n- I think Jagan, I don't know. I feel like if you know that there are instances when you are mean to your parents, so obviously there are some trigger points, right? Like when you snap or something. So I think before you, so the biggest thing I would say is being aware of those situations. And then if you do feel, then maybe, like, okay, I'll just call you back, not like reacting to it. I think that's an important thing, right? So I feel like um I used to react a lot, like in the moment, and I feel no matter what you say, or my husband tells me, just go walk, like take a breather, take 5 minutes. And then after that, it's not as bad, right? So um, just give yourself chance to, but the good thing is you're aware that, you do that. So I think the biggest challenge I see in the world is people are not aware and they have no desire to be self-aware. So at least you have that. So I feel like once you are aware, you can do something about it and you can figure out ways to, get better at it. Um, those are my
pearls of
suggestions.
wisdom.
Yeah, I know for the
Yeah.
day.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you for the advice and your kind words. Actually, I've been advised by ma'am to, you know, breathe, take a couple of breathe a little bit. Don't not respond immediately. Breathe like twice and then respond so that I have enough time to kind of process the information and kind of filter it. And ma'am, I'm so thankful for you, to you for that, because it's been quite a learning experience, but uh, I think it is rewarding. Absolutely. Thank you.
Jagan, please feel free to call me Taru is all I want to say on this. Yeah, thank you.
I, I just wanted to add, I also feel when you give people reaction, like I think sometimes they're seeking that, and I'm not talking about your parents at all, but so my also it's like you don't give other people that power, right? Like you are in control. They don't have the power. So don't give anyone that much power that you react to them. Um it took me a while, so that I think that you will learn with age.
Or a couple of wives.
No.
Yeah, Ritu, I know you joined late. Anything you would want to add or say to it?
No, I am just enjoying the conversations and leg pulling. So Jagan is not married yet,
No,
Oh, we didn't ask.
No, not yet.
but you are assuming that he would have once he gets a couple of wives.
yeah, no, he's not married. Yeah.
That means getting married makes a person wiser.
No
Ritu, you
comment.
met me before I got married, right? I'm so much wiser now.
No, you were always wise, Aditi.
Oh,
Mm. Taru, what was that quote? I was just trying to remember it about the hammers and the blows, and it was a beautiful quote, but I'm not able to find it. that it's important to be hammered.
I think it was Savitri's line that you are referring to. Pain is the hammer of the god
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to break the dead resistance in a mortal's heart.
Right, right.
Yeah,
But is it
yeah, it's
Savitri's
from
quote or
Savitri.
okay,
That's
okay,
from Savitri. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that is the one I was trying to recall.
I think one day we can take God's labor, Sri Aurobindo's poem. That would be very beautiful to take up here. Yeah. So, should we end this now? And so I think we'll just take one last line and then we can end. So, Ritu, since you're unmuted, can you just read this
Yeah.
for us?
Never get excited, nervous, or agitated. Remain perfectly calm in the face of all circumstances, and yet be always alert to discover what progress you still have to make and lose no time in making it.
Yeah, I think again, considering the conversation we were having, it's to remain perfectly calm in the face of all circumstances, and yet be always alert to discover what progress you still have to make and lose no time. Again and again, again and again, I think one really needs to have that aim, right? One needs to check what is it that I want, because if progress is not my aim, these things would not hold any ground.
I think whenever I get excited, nervous, or agitated, there is an image in my mind of how the situation must be. Again, I feel it's connecting to the first one also here. Because when I'm excited, then again an image. When I am nervous, then I expected something else and disappointed, or not feeling okay with whatever is happening. And again, agitated is again when we are furious. You have some picture in your head, but that's not happening the way life is making it happen. So basically, if I can remain not that rigidly associated with my images in the head, quite a relaxed way to live, and then only I can have calm. Otherwise I cannot have calm if I have prefixed notions in my head that this is how that should go, my life should go, and the people should behave. Then it's impossible not to get disappointed again and again, or to get excited or nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said, right? When you attach, exactly, right? When you attach what the outcome looks like and it's not the same way, that's when the disappointments come, because you had certain expectation and that didn't happen. So yeah. I also wanted to share, like, I always feel like when I am in difficult situations, I'm always like, oh God, I know I have to learn something. Jaldi se sikha do so that I can get out. But it's very true. And I feel like for me, the moment I accept and let it go, things resolve. So till the point I reach, like till the point I am like, okay, truly let it go. In my head, I keep saying like, oh, I don't care, or I'm letting it go. But it doesn't happen like till I truly let it go. And at that moment, it's so funny, like everything falls in place. So I feel like attaching myself to the situation, and saying is one thing and doing is other. So like once you actually do it and truly stop caring to some level, that's when things start falling into place. So yeah, but it's a pattern. Like it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a very good thing that you have shared, that once you accept, because we just keep resisting, we just keep complaining, we just keep,
Yeah.
oh my God, why is it happening to me? But if one can actually see and say that, oh yeah, I have to learn. So if I can learn so that I can move on, that
Yeah.
now this is, I would say, good use of intellect, right? This is a perfect use that I know, and now I can
Move
help
on.
the
And
progress, right? Yeah.
yeah, but I think what Jagan said, that was very true too, right? Like it happens, then you forget after some time, and then it happens, and it's like, oh my God. So, why did I attach myself to the situation again? And um, but like it's okay till the point you keep on understanding and realizing and keep moving forward. I feel that's the good thing, because I feel like even if something uncomfortable happens, I don't think I'm there that I'll be like, oh, I'm totally disconnected and I'm going to be okay. It might take me thode जैसे कहते हैं ना ठोकर खा के, then I'll be like, okay, I'm getting there. So but that's part of learning. So I'll give myself some grace to be needy. And why me? But that's okay.
Yeah. I think everything is okay if we just don't stick to it, right? If we just
Yeah.
use it, pass over it. And, yeah.
I think one has to keep on reminding themselves to not get attached, because there've been so many instances where this question comes to mind, that why did I even attach to this person, and now he hurt me so much. And I'll not do this next time.
Mm.
A few months go by, that behave, and then it happens again, and then I laugh at myself, thinking, you just told yourself like a few months ago to not attach yourself, and now you're doing it. Not just with people, but with positions, with luxury, with anything that one has, one finds pleasure in. um, I think uh, to a certain extent, doing sadhana may help with not being attached, but the process at this point feels like very hard, because um, to have a singular attention towards one thing, um, especially um, especially God, or especially in terms of meditation, it's very hard at this point. At least in my experience, I'm trying, but yeah.
So can I ask a follow-up question? Something that Jagan said. So not attaching, but if you have things, or you have people you love, but then is it a bad thing that you feel grateful for that if you have everything? I don't know if I framed my question correctly. Like I shouldn't be feeling bad if I have, or I enjoy things or whatever. Like knowing that um it's not forever, and but at the same time being grateful for whatever I have. That's okay, right? Like I shouldn't I don't know. I love to travel, and then so for me it's like, but if I do that, like I know that it's a luxury, and every time I'm so grateful. uh I don't know if my question makes sense, but I don't want to feel, I don't know.
Yeah, Monica,
Who's
I'll give
gonna
you
take?
this one.
I was waiting for you. No, I think Aditi Mother shares, and again through Buddhist teachings, also it comes to us that if it's there, enjoy it, which you said you are, be grateful for it. But when it's taken away, then let it go away. So, but the point is that that's what Jagan was sharing, and we were discussing that when it's taken away, then it hurts. And then only I get to know that, oh, I was attached. I didn't know that. Because unless it hurts me, I can keep claiming that no, I'm not attached. No, I'm not attached. But when it hurts, then I know that I was attached. Just like when we fall, then we know that we have been up in the air. Before we fall, we can't be sure. So then wait for the next fall. Wait for the next fall. Yeah. But as actually mother says, rather a good way of dealing with this. Mother says that we should not invite suffering and blows, but when they are there, then
Be
if we
ready.
can make the progress and take it in right
Yeah.
attitude. Yeah,
I have got enough blows, so it's like
good.
protect, protect. But like but again, like I feel as you correctly said, right? Like you don't realize you get attached till it's taken away.
Yeah, yeah,
And then when it is, then okay, like sob and get over it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
because everything is
yeah.
nothing is permanent, right? So I think
Yes.
that's yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
in
no.
this case, as mother was talking in one of the points, that just make the necessary progress and move on. So
Yeah.
if now I'm hurting myself, pain is there in my life. For me to know, oh, I was attached.
Yeah.
Can I
It's
move
yeah.
on? Can I let it go?
Yeah. And I used to get stuck on small things. Isne ye keh diya, or like, oh, I have to go do this, and then it will get stuck in my head right now. But now, like, I feel like I just let it go. I was like, jo hoga dekha jayega. Nahi hua, it's not the end of the world, right? Like, let me enjoy what I'm doing right now, rather than like, what should I say, like obsessing about what's gonna happen in 2 days, or so now I but it takes a lot of effort, I'll be honest, because I think my monkey mind, right? I get stuck in loops, and then it's hard for me to it sounds crazy, right? But yeah, it's hard for me to break the loops, but I think now I'm starting to do that. I just don't think about it. So, which is again hard, but getting there.
Yeah. I'm remembering one example, a story that was shared by a Buddhist nun. And she shared that we were meditating and in a room, and there was a lawn outside, and there were a couple of people talking. They started talking while they were meditating. And then she said that so I had my eyes closed and I was thinking, when are they going to stop? Because I want to meditate here, something like that.
Yeah.
And then she so honestly shared that then suddenly I realized that I'm waiting for them to stop after a couple of minutes. But do I know that I'm going to be still alive after those couple of minutes?
Mhm. Yeah.
So here we talk of actually days and years, but she's actually come to minutes, that she's waiting, oh, when will they stop so that I can meditate? And now she's asking herself that, how
Will
do
I
I
be?
know I will be there, still breathing and alive after they are done with their talk? So forget about that and get to the breath, whatever. So
Yeah.
again, yeah, what you were sharing, that one day at a time, one moment at a time, if we can take care of ourselves, that's enough. Yeah, we don't have to stretch it too far.
I agree. Otherwise, it's very exhausting.
And having that focus is also such a great thing because it's like you know riding a motorcycle, on a hill where all your legs, your hands, your mind, your brain, everything is focused on staying upright and also making sure you're not falling off the mountain, and you're so focused. Sometimes I just go for a ride because I just need that thing. I need that thing that, okay, I just want to be focused on one thing and not have all these thoughts corrupted. And to have the same feeling with meditation would be really fantastic because like, because first of all, gas prices are very high, and also meditation is a good thing.
That's
I
very
don't know.
powerful. Thank you for sharing that, Jagan. In
Yeah,
fact,
I agree.
they suggest that to live on the edge all the time so that you can have that intensity what you were wanting. Yes, Aditi, please.
Sorry, no, I was saying I found this app. It's called Insight Timer. And so they have different lengths of meditation, and they actually do a 7 day of, like where they first, like I did the first, like, so it focuses just on breathing. So I don't know if it's there, and it's free, Jagan. I don't know if it's there, but it does help you. And they have 5 minute. And I would say, like, you don't have to, like, just choose a time of the day. I normally do it before sleeping, but just do it for 5 minutes and just focus on your breathing. And I feel like gradually, like, it's easier to focus. I know it's hard, but like, it's all like muscle memory, right? You're just training yourself to be able to do that. So yeah, no, you can work out too. I work out, then I'm in so much pain, then I don't care about anything else.
Thank you, Aditi. Yeah, I did find the app. Thanks.
Okay, perfect, cool.
Thank you. That was very interesting. And just one last thing about this, that we usually don't do these practices. We haven't done them, right? And we do them once, twice, thrice, and we say, oh, they're too hard. It's not my cup of a tea, right? And yet, if we have to do anything, simple thing, we put in so much practice. And yet, here, we are talking about taming the mind or becoming our own master, which we think we are, but we very soon see we aren't. So time we must give. We have to. There's no other way. But there's something in the mind which says that nahi nahi, tere se nahi hoga rehne de, or it's probably not that great. You're already doing so much. So one has to stick to it, be kind and be persistent. That we time mein kitna hua hai and stick to it. Yeah, that helps.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we'll end the session here. Thank you so much for joining in today and for staying till the end. And
Thank
hope
you.
to see us all next Friday. Thank you. Or
Thank
Sunday,
you.
depending on the time zone. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Namaskar.